But to tell me I came out with DeAndre Swift over
That point
Bijan.
where Jordan Davis just, still play the same.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? How y'all feeling today, man? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Nest. It's me and my co-host KingDv, and we have a special one for y'all, man. It's Philly Mike. What's good, Mike?
What's going on? What's going on? I'm ready for this training camp to start, man. Less than 2 weeks. I'm pumped, man. We've been talking about a lot of things. I think there's a lot of good questions, and I'm ready for them answers for sure.
How you feeling today, DV, man? I know you worked hard today, man. So what's going on with y'all? You feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. I got out a little early today. I got out at 3 instead of 5, so I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody else, man?
And I'm all right, man. It rained early in my day, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home, and then it went from like 87 degrees to like 107 degrees in a matter of like 30 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going home. I got home by 2 today, bro. I usually don't get home about 4. I was like, shh. My boss called me like, oh, you was out there dying, huh? I was like, hey, look, if it rain like that and get hot like that again, I'm going to go home again. But, hey, man, we got a lot of things going on as Philadelphia Eagles, man. So I was just, I'm going to ask, how y'all feeling about, training camping? Who, I see we was talking about a few guys, KingDv backstage, who is it that you see that people might think might not make the roster that makes the cut?
Go ahead, King.
Who might make the roster? I mean, a lot of people are not too high on Tanner McKee. A lot of people are not high on that quarterback. They don't think that he could beat out Ian Book, but I think he's going to make the roster. I think he's not going to, be on the practice squad or anything like that. That's one guy that I can think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm looking at that linebacker, Ben Summerin. Just started doing my due diligence on him. The linebacker room is like wide open for starting positions behind the Kobe Dean, let alone depth pieces. I think if there is some unknown there, you would like to carry more guys on the roster for some interchangeability in case, guys ain't doing what you want them to do, a la the guy we had, Eric Wilson. We signed him. We thought something. A couple games in, he's on the bench now. Done. Cut. It's over. So I think if you do have questions behind the Kobe Dean, you want to be a little bit more deeper there with guys that you can rotate in and out, who do this, that, and the third better on different packages. So I like a Ben Van Summeren. But as much as we talk about this cornerback room being deep, I like a guy like Eli Ricks to, possibly make the roster over a UDFA fan favorite in Josh Joe, maybe. I just think that Eli Ricks would have been on a lot of teams' radar if it wasn't for the off-field stuff. Carter wouldn't be a Philadelphia Eagle if it wasn't for the off-field stuff. So even his talent, as good as his, off-field stuff matters. It went from 1, 2, 3 to 9. And now he went from, second, third round pick to undrafted. So I like them too as guys to look out for making the roster that no one's really talking about throughout this whole, June, July time frame.
I'm probably gonna go with probably like somebody like Justin Evans or something. You know what I'm saying? He kind of here more for a depth signing, and we kind of got a deep safety room if people really look at the situation. So I think Justin Evans could be a casualty. He wasn't that expensive, he could end up being a casualty. But I see us kind of making a few bad decisions due to this cut. One day you can get some guys that I think might make the roster might get cut because that's a hard situation to cut. 37 people in one day?
A lot. And it also can play a role as a guy who was starting to turn heads a little bit, went from not really about to make the roster to be that last 1 or 2 guy. He's doing everything in his power, but because 31 other teams is cutting 37 people, now Howie Roseman got a long list of guys who didn't make another team that might just be a whole different position, but he's fighting hard to make this extra cornerback. Eli Ricks is doing everything in his power to make it. He looks good, but we're so deep at cornerback. Where we're not deep at is linebacker, and they cut a Kenneth Murray for some reason. You know what I mean? So you could lose your spot, not necessarily from a guy who plays the same position, but lose a spot on the roster because you were a bubble player who got kicked off for another position that somebody let loose. And there's going to be, 37 times 31 is going to be a stack of players for Howie Roseman to look through, comb through, and you never know. So that's another reason why I think it's tougher this year for these bubble guys.
Mike, you were really high on Nolan Smith. We had a lot of Jan outs. We had a lot of conversations about Nolan Smith. What do you think the best usage for him would be coming into this 2023 season?
I mean, you want to utilize him as a pass rusher for sure. I'm not opposed to him playing off ball for the simple fact that I think he has the skill set to do it, and I think it keeps him on the field more, right? Especially if you're starting to get bad questioned at the linebacker position besides Nakobe Dean, then I think that right there is two birds, one stone, right? It helps the linebacker position. You got a guy who runs 4.3, can make the tackle, can track down guys, can hit the gap, and he's on the field. Your first round pick is on the field. So I think that his best skill set is getting at the quarterback and stopping the run from the joker position, a la Hassan Reddick 2.0 or junior, however you want to call it, because he's not done at all. He's still the man for the Eagles when it comes to getting sacks and stuff like that. But I think that you want Nolan Smith to play as much. So listen, let him return kicks. I think he can do it all. You know what I mean? Keep this man on the field. No, I'm just kidding.
What about you, DV? How you feeling? How you think we can utilize that speed and the best ability for Nolan Smith?
First and foremost, I think that we're going to actually try to rotate him in the beginning and then see where the linebacker is and the linebackers are in the defense, especially because a lot of us content creators got questions about Nicholas Morrow, even though he had good tackles with the Chicago Bears. But the Chicago Bears defense, man, we have high expectation, especially for this defense. So I just want to see where the linebackers are because I believe that's the weakest point in our defense. As far as safety goes, that's the second for me. But with us being deep at cornerback, somebody else can get transitioned into a safety role, especially if we need to. So I'm not really too concerned by the safety. It's more so the linebacker. So I think Nolan Smith, he would be in a rotation with Hassan Reddick at first, and then if we need him to be off ball, I think that's where we'll go. I think we got to play this smart.
I heard somebody kind of talking yesterday, and they were like, the difference between Micah Parsons and Nolan Smith is one is a pure linebacker / edge rusher, and one is a pure edge rusher that if you need him to could play linebacker. So that's what I'm kind of at with Nolan Smith. Like I want him to go get the quarterback, but I also see he's a 4-3 type guy who can go sideline to sideline if we need to. You know what I'm saying? Especially seeing that we're gonna be playing a multitude of different type of quarterbacks this year. I think he can come in and kind of wreck a little shot. Especially if you got a weak tackle on one side and you need to wreck something up, you can throw him in. You can't catch both of them. You might catch Hassan, and you put Hassan like Mike was the first one that kind of showed me the stacking of Sean Desai, how he stacked the edge rushers, and I'm like, oh, like you put Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick on one side, that tackle got a hard decision. I gotta catch the outside man, but if I miss Hassan Reddick going inside, I miss Nolan Smith going inside, my quarterback is in trouble.
Or if you got a running back trying to pick up the other guy, he's in trouble too.
Or a backup tight end.
Send that.
Yeah, how do you feel about this schedule? I mean, I know the front end we got to start hot. That's what people are saying. But do you really feel we have to start hot? I mean, do y'all guys feel like we need a 6-7-0 type start to be able to come down the stretch and make the playoffs and kind of be where we were last year?
You can go, King.
I wouldn't say we need to. I would just say that, with the scheduling how it is, I think that, we should, these are winnable games, and that's how I feel, we got younger. We got younger on defense, and we need those guys to get those reps in. And I think this is the best opportunity to do it before we hit to the bye. Once we hit after the bye, that's going to be our toughest task. Those 4 or 5 games. And then afterwards, then we can get ready for the playoffs and everything. But I think we got these young guys that got championship capabilities in their veins. So at the same time, I really believe that they already built for it. They already built for it. So I don't think we need these games, but they're not must wins, but they are winnable games to the point where we know where our team is at.
Yeah, I lean towards like, look, if we came out the gate 2-2, I think because of the expectations, because of the offseason, because of the trash talk, the ops will be on us. We'll feel some type of way, but I don't think it's panic mode. We got guys who can bounce back. We've seen what we did Jalen Hurts first year. Who knows the reasoning behind it? I actually got to see the reasoning behind it to justify how I kind of feel about it. However, you want to start fast in any sport, in any league, especially the NFL where there's only 16 games, right? You can go on a 5-game losing streak in MLB, NHL, NBA, and it not even affect you. I've seen teams be under 500 and then finish with the first, over 55 wins and whatnot. So 16, now 17 games, I should say. You got to start fast. Our schedule is definitely harder by 100%. It's not nothing that we can't handle, though, is how I feel. So, like, when I say the schedule's harder to a lot of people, when I go on their shows or whatnot, they're like, what, are you scared? I'm like, no, there's a difference between being scared and admitting the truth. Like, the best teams we played outside of our division, right? You can't name one team we played last year outside of our division better than the worst of the 5th team we're going to play this year. You know what I mean? We talk about Chiefs, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Niners, right? There's not one team that's better than any of them teams that we played last year outside of our division. I'm not scared. I'm just recognizing that's why we do have the hardest schedule. And I broke it down pretty much like this on BG's channel. I said, we go against the toughest division in football twice, ours, right? We go against the toughest division in the AFC East, and then the extra game we got was the Super Bowl champions. So, you know what I mean? It's a tough schedule, but I'm not scared.
I see us starting hot, but to say we need to start hot is kind of like what Mike said. It's never a panic mode until you're looking at. I don't even know, like, at what point I look at it and be like, oh, I'm a little scared of our record at this point. I mean, unless we 2-5 again, like we was in 2021. But I mean, I don't see us going that far again. You know what I'm saying? Going that far down. People keep talking about the regression. I think our first task at hand is 1-0, like Jigga said. But the first threat on our thing, I would say probably is the Jets. Like, that's the early test to kind of see, hey, where we at with everything, and going into that game is kind of why I look at the record. Like, coming out of there is where we need to turn the pivot. You know what I'm saying? If we not doing 100% what we need to be doing, our record ain't looking good. After the Jets game, I think I need us to turn it up to start getting ready for that span of the 5 teams that KingDv talked about. Those 5 teams, we don't know what they're gonna be like, but right now in July, they look legit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in September and October, December, those teams could be playing bad football. We could catch a few slipping. We could catch a few with their pants down. You never know, because people are, I've been in these places, and I'm hearing people saying the Bills might not make the playoffs.
What?
Yeah, that's the thing going around, Mike. People are saying like the Jets and the Dolphins gonna be so good, they're gonna push the Bills out of the playoffs.
Hey, but listen, we we sent 3 teams to the playoffs last year. Why can't the AFC East?
Yeah, but they saying the AFC a little bit harder than the NFC. That's why they saying, I don't think Buffalo get pushed out. That's a hard thing to do, man. To push a team out that's been competing for years, like.
I don't even see Miami making the playoffs.
Ooh.
I don't, because regardless of the AFC, you got the Bills and possibly the Jets, but the Jets does have a weakness in their O line. I don't see the Miami Dolphins making the playoffs. I see Baltimore stepping it up, even though I don't see them really making a deep run, but I do see them stepping it up. Just to have Lamar back, that's going to boost them up. You got your Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got your Bengals. You got guys. There's only a certain amount of teams that can go. I don't think they're going to have 3 teams like we did, like we did in the NFC East. They're not going to have that. They probably have 2, but they're probably not going to have 3. They're not going to have 3. Miami is going to be probably fighting for a wild card spot, and that's just my prediction.
Well, yeah, just looking at it a little bit, right? So, let's start let's start with the Baltimore's division, right? We can see both the Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens making it right there. That's 2. If them 2 make it, then only 2 can make it from the AFC East as well. It's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. The AFC is definitely tougher than the NFC. But I still think it's gonna be. I think the 3rd team for the AFC will be fighting with the 2nd team for the AFC. I want to say North. Is that what the Steelers division is?
The Steelers is North, I believe.
Yeah. So I think the 3rd team in the East will be fighting against that 2nd team in the North. Not saying they're going to win. Maybe, as King said, maybe the Baltimore Ravens beat them out by a game or 2. But I think the 3rd place guy in the East is going to be fighting with the 2nd place guy in the North. That's how close it's going to be. In the AFC, that last seed, number 7, when that team makes it, there's going to be like 3 or 4 teams that just missed the playoffs by like a game or so. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be closer, but each conference got to send 7, so it is what it is.
Right.
Every year, inside and out, there's a different team for each side of the conference that comes out, from the AFC and the NFC. Is there, what team do you guys see, being able to come from not making the playoffs last year to making the playoffs this year and possibly, pushing another team out? I'm gonna go with Detroit. And I'm gonna go with
a safe bet. That's a safe bet.
I'm gonna go with Detroit, and I'm gonna go. It's hard with the AFC.
Not for me.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
I'm
gonna take the Broncos.
Well, dang. So if you saying the Broncos, because then it's definitely not gonna be then because. Like I said, each conference can send at least 2. So each division.
Ooh, they do got 2 that already went last year, didn't they? They got the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Yeah. So you got the Chargers, Chiefs, you got the Dolphins, Bills, and then now we're throwing Baltimore back in the mix when the Bengals already made it. So that is, like I said, it's stacked over there in the AFC. But I gotta co-sign with you. My first thought would be the Detroit Lions. I will be keeping my eye on the Bears, right? I'm not saying Fields will take a Jalen Hurts jump, but if he does, he got weapons over there. There's no excuses. I mean, they shirt up the offensive line a little bit. They got him some legit targets in DJ Moore, Claypool. I like Darnell Mooney. It's up to now Justin Fields. And again, I'm not saying he's going to take the Jalen Hurts leap. It's not like it's easy to do that. Jalen Hurts put the work in. They're not just handing them out to anybody for sure. But the Bears are someone to watch a little bit. But my first thought goes to the Lions. Watch out for the Saints. Shout out to Twiz. Yeah, the Saints, like I said, I don't think Carr's anything special, but the Saints always have a solid team. So if you can get C+, B- quarterback play from Carr, depending on what Kamara's sentence is, right? I think it was a misdemeanor. I know he got community service. Let's see what happens in the NFL. But if you get a Kamara all season, they still got a decent offensive line, or they're working on the offensive line. They're getting a guy back that they drafted in the first round. He'll be back healthy. They always got a solid D line. They got some secondary pieces. The Saints are a tough team. It's all about the quarterback play. And Carr can give you C+, B- play, so watch out for them. But they're not the Eagles' problem. They just might make it to the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Did you give an AFC? Who was your AFC team?
Oh, my AFC team, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a team by the toes like that. But I like Baltimore to bounce back. I think Lamar getting paid, he going to do what he do. So, as much as like Denver, Russell Wilson is hopefully you don't see it. Well, I don't care, but I think Russ bounces back, especially with Sean Payton. So I like your Russ and Denver pick, but Lamar ain't go through that whole pay me this, that, and the third for no reason. He about to ball out. You know what I mean? So I like Baltimore. I think I stole Kings, but I like Baltimore.
I had 2 picks from the AFC. And yeah, he did Baltimore. So look, I'm gonna go the other route. So, Detroit. I think everybody's on Detroit because Detroit is, they got better year in and year out. We seen them first game last season. We already know what they're capable of doing. Yes, they lost Jamal Williams, but they gained one of the rookies that we were looking at running back. So hopefully he has a monster year, and then with Aaron Rodgers being out of the NFC North, they're just going to be battling with the Vikings, and we already know the Vikings are choke artists towards the end of the year. So you got to go with Detroit. That's a safe bet. But I'm gonna go to another route with the AFC. I think that people are sleeping on the Browns, man. I think the Browns could do so. I think they could do something.
Watson.
I think they could do something. I think that and we already know that with Lamar getting that payday and all that. Yeah, Watson did. I believe he took a pay cut, and with that going on, he's going to say, "Hey, I'm better than dude," especially because they played each other twice. So yeah. Long story short, I think that with their defense, with their running back and Chubb and everything, I think they got an opportunity to be even number 2 in the division. I don't see them being number 1, but I can see them being number 2 in the division.
That's one of those tough AFC divisions too, bro. They got a little.
Mm-hmm.
They got it's them, Cincinnati, Baltimore. Who the fourth? Bengals, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Steelers.
I don't think they're quite ready. Well, they'll have a defense. I don't know if Kenny Pickett makes the next leap, though. You know what I mean?
Okay, he led me right where I needed him to go. See, me and Philly might be right here. We talking about leaps. People are discussing our quarterback at this point. You know what I'm saying? We just paid him 5 years, $255 million, 170 plus guaranteed. What is the leap that you guys need to see out of Jalen Hurts going into year 4/year 3 starting? Is there a significant leap you need to see, or is it just marginal, small tinkets to his game?
I think if you get the exact same Hurts as last year, you'll think there's a leap, but there really won't be a leap for the simple fact that the style of play is going to be different. I think the aggressiveness that we're going to see in 2023 that wasn't in 2022 wasn't Jalen Hurts. It was the play caller. It was a 509 snaps with a 10-point lead. It was playing smart football at the time where we were playing it. As part of the reason why we stayed healthy all year, right? He sat out of 3/4 quarters. He didn't play 2 games, right? I think that paying him the money we paid him will limit his running. Will it stop it? No. I think it limits in the sense of Hurts dropping back. He looks to his left. He looks to his right. No one's open. He's going to do what Hurts do. But when you have a running game as good as ours might be, when you have an offensive line and stuff like that, I think that Nick Sirianni understands what he did wrong in the Chicago game. Don't ever do that again, especially in that type of scenario, right? Very cold, beatable team. Relax. It's going to be the Jalen Hurts we've seen last year, but he's going to have more free reign. The offense is going to be more aggressive. We're going to be playing better competition, and so it's going to look like he's throwing the ball. He's going to throw the ball more because we're asking him to. That doesn't mean he couldn't do it last year and he's doing it this year. So I've been saying this all off season. The Hurts we've seen in 2022, if you take that man and drop him in 2023 with the same offense, going against these new tough schedule, and with this play caller and Nick Sirianni understanding that we just paid him a boatload of money and we can use him other ways, well, his stats are going to skyrocket. You know what I mean? With doing the same thing. And that's what it takes for the dummies on Twitter and some of these guys who are like, he didn't even throw for 4K. He didn't throw for 25 plus touchdowns, to see when we start doing that, he's going to be able to do it. You know what I mean? There's a difference from us saying, I don't think he can do it, till we didn't ask him to do it. And now he will. So it's going to come full circle. But yeah, little things that we probably don't know about Jalen Hurts. He's working, right? Maybe he didn't like a certain hitch in his hip in the second half of the season, blah, blah, blah. Little things like that. But I think that the dummies are going to be like, dang, Hurts took another big step. And I think the people who watch are going to say, like, no, he did this against the Titans. The game he had against the Titans, you're going to see that more because we're going to ask him to do that more. You know what I mean? The game he had against the Packers, he's going to do that less because we're going to ask him to do that less. Running will always be a part of his game, but it won't be the main thing. It's going to slowly decrease, I think, in this offense, and while we have these weapons. So I think Hurts is legit. So like what I'm trying to say is everybody, I think he's going to continue to get better. Sorry for going long-winded, but I don't think
take your time, Mike. Take your time, Mike.
I don't think people realize how good he was, because they just look at the numbers. They just look at the numbers. And under 4K, under 25, they're going to say he only uses legs. We did run him more than any other quarterback in history, right? Think about the Cam Newtons, the Michael Vicks, the Randall Cunninghams, the Lamar Jacksons. We ran Jalen Hurts more because 10-point lead, take the foot off the gas, waste the clock. It's going to be different.
So basically, I'm on record saying that, you know, Jalen Hurts is one of those guys you can't take away his superpower. You can't take that away, but you can decrease it to the point where it's not as many quarterback draws. It's not that many, you know, RPOs. You know, you call more plays to, you know, solidify and secure your investment in what you paid this guy. You know, as a business, as an organization, you have to do that. On another note, you know, we have two wide receivers that was over 1,000 yards. You know, if Dallas Goedert didn't get hurt, hey, we could have had somebody else with 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? This all goes on to the health of Dallas Goedert, on record saying that as well. And also, if DeAndre Swift does start, he's opening up another aspect to this offense that Jalen Hurts could exploit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying, that he's going to be better. He's going to be way better. Like, I'm on record saying also, the Eagles did not have any screen passes that led to first downs all year. You know, DeAndre Swift had 5 of those things. He didn't even get that many touches as, you know, he previously did before they got Jamal Williams last season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more so that he's going to be better. He's going to be better, and it's not going to be looked at as he got better. It's going to be looked at as, oh, you know, it's another bar that he has to hit. That's basically where we're going to be at with it. Not we, but, you know, the ops, you know, the Cowboys fans, the ESPNs and things like that, because it's crazy how, you know, Burrow beats Patrick Mahomes. He goes to the championship. He loses, and it's, oh yeah, Burrowhead and all that. Yep. It's all high praises. But when Hurts do it, now it's just like, hey, is he an elite quarterback? Is he this, that, and third? Do we trust it? We know what we got in Jalen Hurts, but the world don't know. So now Jalen Hurts is putting that chip on his shoulder. This video is out there, or a video out there with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are 1A and 1B receivers laughing at Jalen Hurts because he's pissed off because that was the last play of practice. Like, this dude wants it more than any quarterback in the league. So I expect him to perform that on the field. We don't need him to get hurt anymore, because when I went to that Saints game, we felt it. We felt like, yo, Hurts. You were there? Yes, I was there. Yes. Jeez. And it was horrible, man. And when Lattimore caught that interception, I walked out.
Hey, so I found out something interesting, right? Some interesting situation. I found out that Jalen Hurts didn't have his first quarterback coach until he went to Oklahoma.
Wait, say that again?
Jalen Hurts had never worked with a quarterback coach until he went to Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley.
Didn't know that.
Alabama offensive coordinator acts as their quarterback coach, but he's not really a quarterback's coach. And Nick Saban lets him do a lot of the one-on-one with the quarterback, but that's not a lot of one-on-one when you're running an offense also. You're not getting a lot of work. That's why the success we're seeing and the growth we're seeing in Jalen Hurts is things he hasn't experienced. If you haven't experienced a quarterback coach, you don't have the bad habits of an old quarterback coach. You can start creating good habits with a new quarterback coach. You know what I'm saying? So I see him, being able to make all the throws. The only thing last year that kind of bothered me was him not pulling a couple of those runs back and looking for the open receiver, because I watch Mike, I watch Philly 500, I watch the game myself. I've seen people open, but Jalen Hurts is already committed to the run. So he's not a Patrick Mahomes where he's using his run to set up the pass. He's more like, if I got the run, I'm gone. I'm not finna let you catch me back here, thinking about it, processing it. When I process that it's time to go, it's time to go.
But do you think it's more of a design, or do you think it's more of him just going?
I think it's mental. Mental. Yeah, it's mental. He see it, he's waiting for it, and then his mind clicked, and you've been waiting too long. It's time to go. It's a couple times last year I seen him like step up, and then he like kind of looked for the man, but it was like margin, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Yeah, I think from year one, that was one of my biggest things going into year two, which we just seen starting, and it was incredible. All-Pro team selection number 2 was keeping his eyes down the field, right? Like, go ahead and you could scramble out the pocket, keep your eyes down the field, and he still didn't do it every time. But nobody does it every time, right? No. But he was better this year than he was last year. Last year, when he rolled out the pocket, he was not throwing it down the field. This time, I've seen it a couple times. A couple to Quez Watkins, a couple to Goddard, Devontae Smith, and so that's something he's always going to have to work on, because it's never written in stone. Because if he rolls out the pocket and decides to kind of just use his legs to extend the play, and nobody gets open, now he's smacking himself on the sideline like, damn, I could have got 9 yards. Now I end up running late. I get 2.5 yards, but I could have got 9. But then when he does stay and he throws for 21 yards, he was like, damn, I was only going to get 7, but now I got 21. So it's a feel the game out, be in the moment. You're never always going to make the right choices, but I believe in him. He's the ultimate competitor, and their type of runs, I don't care. If Jalen Hurts does it, because now it's not a design run. It's a, dang, nobody's open. First, second read, roll out, still nobody, I'm going to go. And most of the time, them type of runs, he finishes with a slide. He finishes out of bounds. It's the design runs that normally finish with a, ooh, that didn't feel so good, right? Chicago against the Jags, he didn't get hurt, but oh my God, did I hold my breath for a little bit, like, Lord have mercy. He got a touchdown, but I thought he broke in half to get in a touchdown. Remember that Jags game? They did cream.
I think look, the thing is, it's not a lot to add to the game. And I think Brian Johnson, if he really can come in and open that offense up, you'll see a lot of the things that Jalen Hurts probably do well. He wasn't, like Mike said, he wasn't asked to do those things last year. He wasn't asked to, really have to do a lot of the let me wait for people to get open and, really orchestrate the offense from a different. He had chemistry where you see him roll out, you see Dallas Goedert immediately. I'm going this way. I'm going to find what my quarterback is. And then he was making throws that I've never seen made. Like that catch in the Super Bowl is still in my head on the sideline where Goddard caught it like, and he had a defender, like, to drop that ball over the top of a linebacker on the way on you rolling out of bounds. That's a pass you don't see a lot of quarterbacks able to make. And then Goddard with the catch.
The championship game. When the championship game, the Devontae, the supposed no catch, it is what it is at this point, right? The no catch, that was Jalen rolling out, Devontae said when I saw him roll out, it's just play backyard football. You know what I mean? Devontae, that was not the route. Devontae was running across field. He said, "Oh, Jalen rolled to my left. I'm just going to run. I'm going to run to the touchdown." And then Jalen loft that over there, beautiful, high over the defender, and on record, it's a catch. You know what I mean?
Tennessee AJ Brown throw too. That Tennessee AJ Brown throw.
Yeah.
You don't see those. Like Jalen Hurts can make all the. I don't care how much you hate on him. You really go back and watch the highlights. You watch the tape. He making every throw. Like you want him to throw back shoulder, he throwing. You want him to throw fades, he throwing them.
People don't realize how he had to adapt to the play adjustment once Dallas Goedert got hurt. Once he got hurt, now it's like, yo, I got to the coaches is like, all right, well, we got to get the wide receiver 3 involved more. We did not have Miles Sanders being like a DeAndre Swift or anything like that. And I don't know why they weren't utilizing Kenny Gainwell in that, because he has the same potential as Swift, but I don't know why they wasn't like allowing him to catch it out the backfield and get in there yet. I don't understand this, but it is what it is. We made it to the Super Bowl, yet we fell short, but with that coaching scheme. But we're looking for Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson to click automatically because of the relationship, number one. Number two, Brian Johnson had under the umbrella of Shane Steichen for at least a year, so he knows certain things that Jalen Hurts is comfortable with, and I think it's going to be a different conversation, in between the helmet.
DV, I think he know more than Shane Steichen. He more locked in than Steichen. He more locked in on what Jalen Hurts like to do than Steichen did. Steichen had 2 years. How old is Jalen Hurts? 24. He had 20.
Right. But Steichen had the West Coast offense. Look at who he was behind. You know what I'm saying? So now you got somebody there that knows Jalen Hurts, that can trust Jalen Hurts, and making the right play and everything like that. I'm on record. I know LB, shout out to LB. He basically came out and said that he was the only one that's behind Jalen Hurts. I'm like, give this youngin' one more year. It's a whole year that he got to prove himself. And hell, look what he did. So I really believe now he got a chip on the shoulder because he felt like he didn't finish the job. He felt like that he left food on the table at the Super Bowl. We can say all together like, yo, take it one game at a time, and I believe that he will. But when he see the Chiefs, he's going to try to play like, hey, it's the Super Bowl because y'all beat me. Think about it. Those games that we dropped against the Cowboys and the Saints, and I hate saying that, but the games that we dropped, he wasn't in.
True.
He wasn't in. The only game that he was in that we dropped was
15-2. I think we 15-2 if Jalen Hurts don't go down with that shoulder.
Right.
Honest opinion. And I think the only reason we lose that last game is because we would have sat.
1, 2, we did lose to the Commanders.
That's the game I counted. I said the Commanders game, but I don't think we lose to Dallas or the Saints. I think we end up losing that last game to the Giants, and we go 15-2. That's what I thought. That's why when people ask me like 14-3, and then I tell them it's a regression from last year, they're like, "No, you went 14-3 last year." Yeah, but we lost our quarterback for 2 of those losses. I think if we play both games, we go 15-2, and then I think this year we go 14-3. But people don't look at it that way.
Yeah, I would love to go 14-3. I'm still saying right around 13-4. People ask me, where's the 4 losses? And then they ask me the same thing. Where's the regression? I said, it's not regression. It's the National Football League, bro. Shit happens on Sundays, any given Sunday. Out of them 4 losses, a game or 2 might be one that if we play that team again, we're going to beat them. If you want to play us again, get to the playoffs because we're going to be there. You know what I mean? But our schedule is tough. To say that we're going to just run through it like nothing, again, if the Chiefs had our schedule, I would predict 4 losses. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. And I think we are as good, if not better than the Chiefs. I think we outplayed the Chiefs. We just also made more mistakes than the Chiefs. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They were the better team. They were the more disciplined team. we were the better team. They were the more disciplined team. And they got the dub. And so I still put the Eagles and the Chiefs in their own category. But guess what? The Chiefs lost to the Colts last year. The Bengals lost to the Raiders last year. The San Francisco 49ers lost to the Raiders last year. The
Kansas
Bengals
City lost to the Colts.
Huh?
Kansas City lost to the Colts.
Yeah, I said that. Chiefs lost to the Colts.
Keep going.
Niners lost to the Raiders.
Ooh, they
Come on,
did.
Mike, say it.
The Bengals lost to the Cowboys with Cooper Rush.
The Jaguars lost to Jaguars beat the Cowboys. I wanted you to say that.
There you go. And the Cowboys lost to the Packers, the Jags.
Yeah.
A bunch of teams that were
It's
that
parody.
good.
This league is definitely parody.
Yeah. And so 13-4 can look more impressive. If you look at the total, look, 13-4, Jalen Hurts threw 30 touchdowns, 4K. 14-3, he didn't touch that. You know what I mean? It's difference to it. And so, what was the narrative all year? And even in the playoffs, you went against Daniel Jones, you went against Josh Johnson. Oh, it's not our fault that all happened. We also went against Daniel Jones and had a first round bye because we were the best team. However, our road, it might not ever be that silky smooth again. But because we're a better team, we don't need it to be silky smooth. See, that's a difference. I'm not afraid to say we had an easy schedule last year. I'm not afraid to say that everything felt perfectly in the playoffs for us to go to the Super Bowl. But I'm also here to say that I believe we are a good enough team to handle any schedule. We had an easy one, not my control. Can we handle a harder one? Yes, I believe it. And here's the thing. If we were really not that ready, if the season was a lie because we played against bad teams, if the playoff run was a lie because we played against Jones and Johnson, then why did we lose to the best team in the league at the last second, right? Like the Cowboys, the ops, as to say, could have really rubbed it in us. Like, I told you the Eagles were frauds. If the Chiefs would have blew us out by 15, 10 points, 17 points, well, then I would have even sat back and had to say, damn, we did beat a bunch of bum teams. We did get a little lucky ride in the playoffs, and we did get our ass whooped in the Super Bowl. No, we played a great game minus the mistakes. You know what I mean? So, like, we showed with the best team, we can stay with them, and with the worst team, we beat them by 30. You know what I mean? So, like, an easy ride is an easy ride, but no matter what, we played the best team in the league, and we gave them the best game that we could have gave them with the mistakes we made. So I'm ready. I can't wait to run against the Bills and the Niners and the Chiefs and the Dolphins and Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. I'm ready because now our record is 13-4 or 14-3, let's say. You know how nervous the rest of the NFL is going to be. Like, the only thing they held on to last year was maybe they don't show up in the playoffs. Maybe when they play a real team, they're not that good. When we beat all the real teams in the regular season, they got nothing to hold on to. Nothing.
That's all they kept saying. That's all I heard too, bro. Cupcake schedule. They didn't play anybody.
The whole season.
How many playoff teams are on their schedule?
But here's the thing, though. The Cowboys, the Giants, the Commanders, whoever's talking in our division, majority of those teams that we played, they played.
Yeah, true.
Cowboys lost to two of the teams that we won against. Well, one of those games, thanks to Jalen Hurts, because we were up the Jags was up 14-0. I remember that game. Shout out to JC, but I was on video with him. They were up 14-0, and Jalen Hurts came and brought us back. And then that's when we started to, run them up. So you can't just keep saying that, we had a cupcake schedule because, the whole NFC East basically did. We just played a couple of different teams here and there, but we had majority of the same schedule, number one. Number two, I did have a question for you, Mike. So do you think that our road, regardless if we had to buy or not, do you think that we had a tough schedule to get to the Super Bowl?
You mean in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, yeah.
I would say that just saying the name Giants and Daniel Jones, I always would say they trash. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to lie. Daniel Jones played, the Giants played their best game of their In the last 5 years, that game against the Vikings was the best thing they ever did. So I did try to put some respect on her name. And again, the ops used it as, no, the Giants are still the Giants. And the Giants proved that they're the Giants. Or did the Eagles prove that when we play a bad team, we dismantle a bad team, right? So it's a teeter-totter. Look, I'm not afraid to say we had an easy schedule, but I'm also not afraid to say that what are you supposed to do with an easy schedule? You're supposed to beat a team in the playoffs 30-something to 3, right? That's our 30-7. That is what we did. If we would have beat the Giants by a walk-off field goal, I would have been a little bit more nervous. You know what I mean? Now, then I would have to think, did we struggle with them, or are the Giants playing like they did against the Vikings, right? So there's so many ways you could take it. Of course, they're going to not give us the benefit of the doubt. I will say this, though. Playing Daniel Jones and playing Josh Johnson was a luxury. But if we played against Tom Brady and Dak Prescott, would I think it would have made a difference? Not with that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and not with Dak Prescott throwing interceptions. You see what I'm saying? So, like, as much as I'm going to sit here and say we did low-key have, and again, we still went against the Niners defense, but that was a tough call for the Niners. I wish we could play. I think we were going to beat him with Brock Purdy because although he's better than Josh Johnson, I'm not scared of him, Mr. Irrelevant. And so Goni plays in front of you. We got a break, but all that should be thrown away when we went point for point with the best team in the league. The Chiefs, who was handling business in the AFC, the tougher conference, had to do everything in their power to beat us. So we played our game, and that just showed us that we were meant to be there, and we just came up short. But I do think the road's going to be different this year, but it's nothing that we can't handle. You know what I mean? I listen, I wanted to play the Cowboys in the championship as much as I'd have been nervous because, I don't want I low-key, I don't want them to even get to the championship. I love holding that on. It's been my whole life. I'm only 32. You know what I mean? And Dak Prescott said he ain't get to watch his team in the Super Bowl. He's 30. I'm 32. I ain't get to do it either. All that being said, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to try to make Daniel Jones into something he's not. The Giants played against the Vikings. I'm not going to make Josh Johnson into something he's not. But that defense is still vaunted, and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts fooling Fred Warner left and right still put up points on that defense, right? So it was, it was meant to be, first of all. That's what it was. We were meant to be in the Super Bowl, and we just couldn't finish.
What do you think, Smitty?
What was the question again? Repeat the question. Let me make sure.
Basically, after the bye, do you think that we had a tough road to get to the Super Bowl with the teams that we played, or was it easy?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of cupcake. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, look, when I see you play the Giants, I was so happy, bro. I was like, the Giants to get to the NFC Championship game. Like, listen, out of all the teams that made the playoffs, that was the one team I wanted to play in the divisional round. Like them or Tampa. I would have took Tampa. If Tampa would have just so happened to knock those people off, then I'd have been cool with that. But the other team was Giants, and then San Fran. Like, I'm tired of them talking about Brock Purdy not being able to play the game. Like, y'all act like we kidnapped him and he didn't make it to the stadium or something. Like, nah, he was there. He was losing when he got hurt too. It wasn't like y'all was up, then we hurt him and then we beat y'all. No, we were up. Well, it was 14-7, right? When he got hurt.
Yep.
So it's like we were already in the driver's seat. But yeah, I think it was cupcake. But what really impressed me is just like, Mike, we went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Like, we went blow for blow, and we really shouldn't even had to do that. If we come out and hit them in the mouth in the second half, come out at halftime, and don't let them go straight down and score a touchdown, we're able to implement the run game. Them coming down and scoring that fast, it's a 3-point game now. Now we got to go into panic mode because it's Patrick Mahomes. You need points. Then you get down and finally score a field goal. All that. It shouldn't have been what was that. But we ended up going toe for toe. Like, you seen Jalen Hurts make a pass to Devontae Smith in the clutches of the game to get in first and goal. Then it's 35-35. I was OG last night. I was on the live with OG. He was like, "Did you see Patrick Mahomes' face when Jalen Hurts tied it up 35-35?" He was like, "Dang, this dude ain't going nowhere." I think even Kansas City thought we was gonna be a cakewalk. No cap. They game plan when they first came out seemed like they said we're gonna go out there and hit him in the mouth, and then halftime we're gonna be cruising. They had to readjust at halftime and was like, hold on, wait. These boys came out to ball.
Yeah.
I think the first part of we did have a little easy walkway, but you only can play who you play.
That's true.
I can't put nobody else on the schedule. I can't any mini mighty mo and get a better team to play.
Right. So where I'm at with it is I believe that it was, and not the fact that these teams are unbeatable or they were better than us. Not saying that at all. You got to look at the storylines that was going into it. Basically, the Giants was on a hot streak. You know, they had Daniel Doms, they had Saquon, and basically they were running stuff. You know, they was on a winning streak and everything like that.
Did you say Danny Pennis? Did you say Danny Pennis?
No. Listen to what I'm saying.
To make his story good, you got to call him Danny Dimes for this one.
So that's what I'm saying. So we did what we did with them, right? And then it was like, oh, Brock Purdy and this, that, and the third happened, and then they start feeling themselves. You had the 49ers fans come to the link. I don't know if it was true what they did to the statue. They should have learned from the skull and everything like that. They got handled. I was on record. I think I was arguing with a 49er fan, and they was basically saying if we had Brock Purdy, just how Deebo Samuel, and I know we're going to get on that, but he was saying if they had Brock Purdy the whole game, that they would have won that game.
Double digits. Don't forget, he said they would have beat us by double digits.
Right. But Brock Purdy did play that game. This is any given Sunday, number one. Number two, injuries does happen in the NFL. And number three, he went against a real defense that he could not withhold, And on record, I'm on record saying that made our defense that year overall better than the Cowgirls defense because they couldn't do that. They couldn't they struggled. So with I hate saying his name, but Jonathan Gannon called defense, look what we did to Brock Purdy. Look what we did to the second string, and then we ended up with the third string, and then it was almost to the point where Christian McCaffrey, he was the only one that scored a touchdown for them. He was about to play quarterback. So,
oh yeah, I do remember that. They was trying to change his helmet out.
Right. I feel like with the storyline and everything like that, that's why I say that it's a tough schedule because it was people rooting against us, and they were more so about the winning streak of the Giants. It was more about the winning streak of the Brock Purdy and everything like that. And they was calling it Brocky. We went through that. We went through all that. And look what happened. Not saying that we're not better than these teams, but come on, And let's not sleep on San Fran. They had a great.
I ain't think about that.
What he said? Why no one talking about Shanahan gets on his quarterbacks hurt? Yeah.
If you go back, you really look at the list of his quarterbacks. Every one of them had a major injury.
Yeah. And then when you get to the Super Bowl, to finish my statement before we get into that, when we get to the Super Bowl, we did have a lot of mental mistakes on offense. We did have a lot. Defense didn't show up in the second half, but we can blame the defense all day. I really believe that we got outcoached. We can blame the field, but everybody played on the field. But we got outcoached. I really believe that Jalen Hurts did outplay Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes is more savvy because he's been there. He's been in situations like that. Regardless if he got hurt on one leg and all that, he's been in those situations. It did hurt because it was one leg, but if he was Patrick Mahomes healthy, then I'd be like, all right, that's Patrick Mahomes. But
y'all heard
Jalen Hurts did.
Instead of talking about the Super Bowl.
Listen. Jalen Hurts did do his thing in the Super Bowl, but he seen that confetti come down, and it wasn't green and white. It wasn't green and white. So
it was white.
We got work to do.
It was white. It was white.
I thought it was red and yellow.
No, it was red, and orange, red and white.
It was just red and white.
Yeah, red and white. Red and white.
It was red and white. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, I thought it was red and
look for some positive.
But overall, I just think that that's what made it tough, because it was everybody against the Eagles, and I think the Eagles prevailed every single game, except for the Super Bowl, of course. But I feel like that our president was known, but we got some unfinished business to do this year.
Hey, Deshaun Desai come in and make our defense look more competent? Because Jonathan Gannon did a great job, but he didn't look competent in a lot of those games with decent quarterbacks. He looked like he was just out there just calling whatever. Deshaun Desai come in and change that for us? Because I need this. I need somebody to change it. I can't have people like Andy Dalton, the red rifle, going 13 for 14 in the second half type deal.
You know why Jonathan Gannon's defense worked? And I watched all our games. You had the right personnel there, because he kept complaining about that as well. But it's more so that the second quarter for us, we were up. And we had the vets, we had good players to actually contain the lead. That's what we had. It wasn't all Jonathan Gannon. Yes, Jonathan Gannon did get a job off of it as a head coach. But let's be honest. I think Jonathan Gannon's defense is, we all questioned it. Sean Desai is not too far off of Gannon, but he schemes better. He schemes a lot better than Jonathan Gannon, and I think that's what's going to help.
Well, his scheme is similar, and I necessarily don't disagree with what Gannon was trying to do multiple times. Right? Like, look, blitzing is cool and all, and I do like to blitz. Don't get me wrong. However, when you send a blitz, if it doesn't get home, somebody's open, or somebody's one-on-one. And if you do it too often, as much as you say, Slay and Bradbury and Maddox, that's cool. One little footing mistake or blah, 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 and big chunks are coming after that. One catch in the middle and a missed tackle from a linebacker or a safety taking the wrong angle, and it's bye-bye birdie. Hence, Jordan Love comes in the game for the Packers, throws a 5-8-yard pass to Christian Watson. Blankenship, who played great that game, took the wrong angle, and it's bye-bye birdie. So, again, when you have a great defensive line that has enough pieces to rotate, they're always hungry, they're always energized, they're ready to go, they're winning their one-on-ones. Don't blitz that much, right? You send 5 occasionally. You send a wrinkle. You move them around, you do that, but you keep the extra guys in coverage and help out the back end, because it's a passing league. They're going to have multiple guys running routes. There's not a bunch of 12 personnel being played where you got 2 blocking tight ends or a blocking tight end and a guy who just goes out for it. You got a lot of people running routes, running backs running routes on ice from the backfield. And so you want to have your coverage guys. So I like all that. The difference between Sean Desai is I think he's going to be less predictable in the sense of line up, play your spot. There's going to be some more disguise, some movement. And I do think, we called blitzes in the Super Bowl. Everybody wants JG to blitz. I never said I just wanted to blitz. I wanted to do it timely, right? Like, he called 0 blitzes twice on Mahomes inside the 5, and Mahomes said bang, bang, boom, boom, right? So, that is as much as, I'm looking at my guys, what are the players doing? I'm looking at JG, why you call that too? So, it's all about, there's only so many plays in football, right? There's only so many type of coverages, quarters, dime, or cover 3, cover 2, Tampa 2, man up, whatever, packages, plays. It's about when you do it, when you bring it out, and how you disguise it.
You know what? I actually had to watch that play 7 times just to see him call that 0. I'm like, And when I seen everybody just go like this towards the line, I was like, you have to be the dumbest defensive coordinator in the history of football. With the best quarterback on the other side of the ball, you call a 0 on the 3-yard line? Like, come on, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like that's like I want you to blitz. Like I agree with Mike. I want you to blitz. But I don't want you to blitz on the goal line when they're in pass formation and he's been dinking and dunking the whole game, killing us.
Yeah, and that's what beats the blitz. A little dump off.
There was, if you really look at the Super Bowl, if you really want to, he didn't really beat us with no deep passes.
Dude had a $182. That's it.
He didn't beat us with a lot of those.
Play of the game was a 28-yard, a 25-yard scamper on one leg.
Right.
He really did.
I was so mad when he ran up the middle of the field on us. I literally started crying on a live stream. I took the live stream down so I can't get trolled by the odds, right? Like if they were in there, they could have screen recorded it. I didn't quit. I stayed the whole game. But after I got off, it's still up on my YouTube. It's just private. You know what I mean? I literally cried.
Hey, somebody told me like Javon Hargrave, if he dove, he would have sacked him. I got to go back and look at it though.
Reddick was close. Reddick was close to not getting a sack, but getting him like after he ran for 3 yards.
It might have been Reddick then. They said somebody was right there. All they had to do was dive, and I'm like, if I look at that tape and somebody didn't dive, I'm gonna cry because that killed the game. But that was it. That was over with. He took that 25. I was like, I looked at my son. It was his first Super Bowl as an Eagle fan. I was like, son, it's over. He was
just praying to God.
He was like, no, it's not over. I'm like, son, it's over.
Yeah, because they don't understand that chip shot field goal, 30-something.
Yeah, Drew said it was Jordan Davis. It wasn't Hassan Reddick.
I know which one he talking about. He ran twice on us, right?
He ran more than twice.
Well, the big plays, like he had a 15 and then he had a 25. Yeah, right?
The big plays it was twice.
Jordan Davis missed the 15 if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the second one was Javon Hargrave. 803, what you talking about? What OG said? Oh yeah, about Hargrave. That's who told me. Like if he dive, he get his foot. I got to go back and look at the tape though. I ain't looked at it yet. Like that really killed me. Like the field goal, the 6 points. Like
I want to get into this training camp.
Okay, we gonna get there. Hold on, wait. Me and Joe was doing, we was doing the Jan app. I was so hyped. All my energy was gone after that field goal would go up 6.
You were live?
Like we went up to halftime. Me and Joe Castro live. Wow. Like I'm hyped. If you look at me, I'm like jumping around. I'm like having a good time. I wish I could go live, like, and just show y'all how it was after the field goal. I was just sitting there like, it's over. We just lost.
Yeah. I'm live with a lot of people on my stream, and we'll get to the training camp real quick, but I'm live with a lot of people on my stream, and I'm just like, as much as I need to like try to entertain and talk and do that, like I don't give a bleep anymore. Like I'm so mad. Like losing in this regular season is it hurts me still. But I talk about the loss, but like, I almost didn't want to stream the Super Bowl because I didn't know how I was going to handle it if a loss happens, because like they don't just come around like that. Like last time I lost the Super Bowl. Last time we won the Super Bowl, I wasn't doing this in 17. And before that, I was 14, 15. But anyways, long story short, man, I didn't want to talk. Then, it was rough. But go ahead,
Mike,
King.
You helped me, Mike. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had turned all the streams off. And when I opened my YouTube, Mike's was like right there. And Mike was just sitting out there like looking at the screen. And I was like, I'm glad somebody I can look at that feels like I feel right now. Because like looking at my kids, they looking at me like, why he so like looking like you don't understand. Like I've been a fan since '92. I got one Super Bowl. Like this really, really, really meant something to me to see my quarterback that I'm invested in mentally. Like he's here, my team. Like a win here is better than anything, but being here also has to be looked at the same way. But DV, jump into this training camp.
No, not yet. No, because you just hit me emotionally, man. My wife, shout out to my wife, but my wife, I'm sitting there screaming at the TV screen and everything. They're like, they can't hear you, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. but this is a passionate thing for me.
It makes me feel good that I can yell.
Right. You got to support me, and now it's like almost a little semi-argument on why is this important to me. So anyway, I do feel that. I feel that, a lot of people don't understand, especially if they're not into sports. If they're not into sports, they don't understand why we get so passionate about this.
Real quick, that's the last thing. So, like Smitty said, I would just stare at the screen like this, and then maybe like I know we're freak out, you know what I mean? But my wife came upstairs. I don't know if you were there, Smitty, when it happened, but my wife came upstairs, and my wife's not the biggest football fan. She knows she knows she's an Eagle fan because I am, right? She knows a little bit about the game. I always watch the Super Bowls. I used to have a Super Bowl party at my house, right? Again, the Eagles haven't been in since 17. I had a Super Bowl party at my house for 17. I wasn't on YouTube. So I wasn't sure if I was going to stream. Anyways, they still did a little something downstairs, Super Bowl party, and I wasn't downstairs. I'm up here doing it. My wife was, drinking a little bit. She's not a big drinker, so she's a little tipsy. She comes upstairs and she's telling me while I'm on live, and the game's damn near over, right? Like they're in field goal range. It's after the scamper. And she was all like telling me like she's tipsy and she doesn't know. And she's like, why ain't the Eagles playing harder? I'm all like, they are. I'm arguing with her like, listen, they are. They're just not winning. You can play hard and not win. Like my wife's telling me no. If they were playing harder, they'd be winning. I'm like, just go downstairs, please. So it's like one of them things where it's like my first love is I'm right there, and my second love, I'm like, what's going on? Y'all both killing me. Just leave me alone.
Man, I know the feeling, man.
Well, my wife is now an Eagles fan. She's an avid football person, so she felt that. And she looked at me, and I was like sitting on the floor, like, "Are you serious?"
My wife do not talk about sports, don't know about sports or anything. She said, in football, it looks like all the men line up and just run into each other, and it's either a first down or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's more to the game than that. Now she's on the tip of, hey, did we win? Okay, yay. I post a picture with the Eagles jersey on or an Eagles shirt. I can live with that. I can live with that. But I got a question for both of y'all. A right guard position. It's been brought to my attention that we leave out Jack Driscoll in the right guard position.
Argument.
What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, why do we do that? I haven't really heard about Jack Driscoll either. Is it just mentally that we think he's a backup?
Yeah.
Wasn't he here when we drafted Landon Dickerson? He had the opportunity to be a starter, right?
He did. But we talk about like this season, like going into training camp.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a mental thing. Like you had the opportunity to be a starter. There's guys that we have drafted here to kind of put them in front of you.
We drafted Landon to be the backup center.
Oh, we did, yeah. And then he ended up playing. Then he ended up first starting at right guard, but then they moved him to left guard, and then he got stuck.
Left. Mm-hmm.
So
and look, for me, Driscoll's just been a guy who drafted, played some tackle, played some guard. Not too much on the wives. For real.
Yeah, I see it as soon as you see it.
Yeah, but Driscoll's been a guy who came in and has done well, but every time he came in as that swing tackle, right? Swing offensive lineman to fill in for an injured body, whether it's inside, outside, tackle, guard. He's done well. He just always gets banged up himself. And I think that we look at him right now as that, Vitae, that guy that can come in and play. He's versatile to where, Jergens is a true center, but we might mold him to play a little bit guard. You know what I'm saying? Where Driscoll can come in and be that left guard, right tackle, left tackle. He can play from a lot. He can truly play all 5 positions, and I think we like him at that spot. But don't mistake, as KingDv said, when the training camp comes, like we believe Jurgens has talent. We've seen it at the center position. Little light for guard. We'll see what happens, right? Kelsey believes in him. We've heard that Lane Johnson likes the size and the size combination of a Tyler Steen, and he played in Alabama. He's really good, but like Driscoll has as much of an opportunity. Again, he's just not going to be talked about because who's going to click on it, right? If you put out an article like Tyler Steen, right, recent draft pick, we gonna read it, right? You put out an article saying Cam Jurgens, well, Jason Kelsey handpicked him, right? And we've heard all this good stuff about him. We gonna read it. And you hear Jack Driscoll, we're like, who again? He's still what? So he does have an opportunity to fight for that. I think that right guard spot is a three-way battle. I just think that when it's all said and done, I still think that Jurgens having 2 years under his belt, I think that there is a lot of love for him in the locker room. I think that Jurgens going to get it. But Driscoll, I believe that if anybody gets hurt, Driscoll's next man up. Like Driscoll might jump in even before Tyler Steen just because he's been here. You know what I mean? Not saying that if there's an injury week 11 or 12, Tyler Steen can't come in, play tackle, which he did before, right? But I think Driscoll is that guy that's coming in for anybody who goes down in the game. Driscoll's that guy. I've
kind of seen a little article the other day where they were saying like players we might be looking at if it don't work out. I don't even know like if I'm 100% sold on both of those guys, but I think if it's in the house, you know, it's a better opportunity to have guys kind of work together. You know what I'm saying? If you bring in an outside guy, that's the guy you got to fit in. You got to kind of mix into the mix. But Driscoll, I feel like he get left out because he's more of like I'm trying to get a good analogy. He like the guy that worked the 9 to 5, and he there every day. He never miss a day, right? But the guy that come in and laugh with the boss man and kick it with the boss man because he knew, he get the praise because he the new guy. Driscoll been here, and you telling me we brought in 2 other guys. You know what I'm saying? We brought in guys that's in the same position he is. Like Cam Jurgens is a center, but he can play guard. Steen is a tackle, but he can play guard. If we were so locked in at, you know, Driscoll being here, I think Driscoll would be kind of more talked about. I don't ever see them brought up. I've never seen Lane Johnson talking about Jack Driscoll coming in and being next to him.
No.
But imagine this, though. I just thought about something you said. Imagine being the monkey in the middle between Tyler Steen and Cam Jurgens, and you hear Kelsey on this side, like, Cam Jurgens should be playing, and you hear Lane Johnson on this side, like, Tyler Steen should be playing. It's like,
he's like, what about me, bro? I've been here the whole time.
I've been here. Like, how y'all talking about these 2 dudes? Like,
yeah, I understand all that. And how do y'all think that training camp will go? Do you think Jason Kelsey stay the whole training camp, or will we see Cam Jurgens and Tyler Steen on the O-line in training camp?
Wasn't he supposed to play right guard with Kelsey last year? But he had to get surgery, right? Didn't Kelsey have to get like some little? Kelsey had to get a little surgery.
He stepped in. And I'm on record saying also that with Cam Jurgens stepping in at center, you couldn't really tell that we was missing Kelsey in certain games. And it could be because of the cupcake schedule or the sweet schedule that we had, but you couldn't really tell that we was missing him. So I think that, you know, at one point in this training camp that's coming up in less than 2 weeks, we're going to see both of those boys together. To see,
is that the biggest position battle for all of us, the right guard, since that's the position we know we don't have a for sure person?
No, on offense. We have a for sure person because of the longevity of Cam Jurgens. You know that he's going to be the week 1 starter because, you know, you want to have that surety that, hey, he's going to last the whole game. You know, and we have the Tyler Steen to back him up if he gets dinged up. You know, you want to have that's just playing it smart. But truth be told, like Mike said, Lane Johnson wants Steen. Jason Kelsey is like, hey, my guy needs to play. He's 1 year into Stockton University, so you want him to play. But at the same time, it's just like, yo, who wants it more? At this point, and that's what I'm be looking at in the training camp. Who wants it more? But like I said, if Jason Kelsey does not practice the whole training camp, then Cam Jurgens is going to be at center position.
I really would like to see
now,
some tape of that with Cam Jurgens at center and Tyler Steen at right guard. Like with I would like to see that.
To see how it goes.
Yeah, especially in the training camp purposes, you want to get some experiment going on. Maybe some joint practices, even in the preseason, you want to get all the kinks out and whatnot. But I want to ask y'all, like, so the running back room is like everybody thinks it's like automatically like spoken for, but like you don't think Kenneth Gainwell can like knock, like, I'm not trying to say he's gonna be the number one, but you don't think Kenneth Gainwell can just like prove throughout this training camp and stuff and time preseason, however long it takes, that like week 1 he gets as many carries as Swift, or maybe he's I'm not saying he gets more. I'm saying he gets close to as many carries as Swift, and or at least number 2 in carries. Like, does he beat, like, because right now I think if you ask the average Eagle fan, they're like Swift, Gainwell. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people say that. I'm not saying everybody does, but I think a lot of people will say that. You know, there's certain people who say Penny might get cut, blah blah blah, right? A lot of people all over the place, but Kenny G, man, is his role going to decrease or increase? Because listen, last year it was Miles Sanders, Kenny G, Boston Scott. So Miles Sanders leaves. Kenny G's being talked about by the organization as we're okay with him being the one. I'm thinking they're going to get a guy to be number 2 behind them. And now all of a sudden, according to, the average Eagle fan, he's now 3rd. So he went from thinking he's going to be number 1 to 3. He says at the podium he's going to get more time this year than last year. Did somebody tell him something? Is he overconfident? You know what I mean? What's going on? Where's Kenny G falling? That's what, you know what I mean? I want to see that rotation.
First thing first, shout out to Sierra Cobb. Check out Eagles Elite podcast. That's my sis. But on to the question, I really believe that Kenny G was the only running back that I seen at the podium that said that, hey, he's fighting for the number 1 spot.
He said it. He did.
Rashad Penny, his introduction, DeAndre Swift, his introduction was like, hey, whatever they need me to play, I'll play. Kenny G said, yo, like, I'm coming. So I'm looking at that too in training camp. That's another thing I got on my bulletin that I'm looking at, that if Kenny G wants it, how he's going to go get it. Because he had a decent postseason. So I really think that Kenny G deserves to be number 1, but at the same time, like, if you're going by names, it's easy to say, DeAndre Swift because he's multi-talented, and then you could go with the power back in Rashad Penny because he got the vision and he can keep his legs churning to gain more yards, and that's something that we had in 2017. So, that's basically what people want again, because the running game in the Super Bowl that wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying. I really believe that DeAndre Swift should be number 1 because you got to worry about him running, but you also got to worry about him catching out the backfield, getting a yak, and he keeps his legs churning too. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny G gives them a run for his money. There's rumors out there saying that we might be looking to cut a running back.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to say right now, though, DV. We ain't seen nobody put a pad on. It's easy to say.
No, we didn't. No. It is. But what I'm saying, that's the rumors right now.
Trey Sermon might be the one cut.
No. We're gonna be a practice squad because according to Nick Sirianni, he's good at practice.
That's he has to be because I ain't seen him playing but 1 game with 2 carries.
Right, but he had a good decent run and then we didn't see him no more, bro. We didn't see him no more.
But I would like I want to KingDv. I want to see a lot of that 2 running back set with Swift and Gainwell, bro. Like the threat of them both being out in the open field, one-on-one with a linebacker.
Is that Brian Johnson's offense?
He did run a lot. He did run a little bit of that at Florida, not a lot. But he did have the 2 sets where the running backs were both in the passing game. Like just imagine like setting up some motion this way, and then Kenny Gainwell on the other end, one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have a one, like the situation you could put them in together is crazy because you don't see a lot of 2 running back sets no more. Like you don't see a lot of split back. Like a lot of people saying we're gonna run a lot of two tight end set. I didn't see a lot of that last year really like that. We didn't run a lot of 2 tight end sets. I could see them bringing in Kenny G as the second guy. And Penny Moore, I want Penny Moore as a closer. I really don't care if he played during. I could take him late in the game as a bruiser back. Everybody tired. Hey, Penny, go get your carries.
Bro. That's a question though. Do you think we didn't run 2 tight end sets because we had one in Calcaterra that can actually catch and one installed that can actually block? You know, Calcaterra is getting there in the blocking, but he's not a good blocker. Do you think that's why that we didn't run those sets as much?
Maybe they were, as you can see when Goddard went down, they weren't 100% confident in using him in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a possibility that they just didn't have the confidence to put him in and then blow a play like what happened to Brock Purdy.
I know I'm all over the place, but question for Mike: Quez Watkins or Olamide Zaccheaus?
Quez.
Wow.
I know. Hey, look, I done did too many Jan ass with Mike. It's Quez.
Ass, man. I be defending Quez like I'm a die on this hill. You know what I mean?
If
I do,
you should, though.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, look, he had his up and down season. We've seen it, but I mean, no excuses. Got back to work. You can't make up that speed, and although Olamide Zaccheaus can offer you something different in the slot with his shiftiness, he's not faster than Quez.
No.
Not on that straight line speed. And I think that, you know, shifty or not, you know, Smitty gave a lot of props to Olamide Zaccheaus with his ball yards after the catch, after the ball is in his hand. I'm trying to say, I was trying to say it with saying Paul at the same time. I was lost. But anyway, Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah. When the football gets in his hand, he gets a lot of yak. All that being said, you know, Quez Watkins' skill set fits perfect with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, you got to catch the ball at the end of that skill set. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, but I think it's a bounce back season, and it's not going to be bounce back where I say he gets like 700 yards because we have too many other players to feed, right? We're going to get the running back more involved in the screen game and some checkdowns, which we were last in the NFL in checkdown rate, 3.4% in the NFL. We're going to use Goddard as much as we did last year. We're going to use them 2 stud wide receivers as much, if not more. They were the second best tandem behind Reek and Waddle as it pertains to yards and touchdowns and 20-plus catches and blah, blah, blah. So Quez can have a better season if he just gets that, you know, solid. What do you have last year?
Quez?
I know his good year that made us look at him a lot was like 650-ish, 640-ish.
Yeah,
last
something
year
like
he
that,
had
yeah.
what?
About 400 and some change, and like 3 touchdowns, I believe.
Well, here's my thing: he can have another 400-ish type season, but we feel different about him because he didn't drop as many, right? So again, I'm not trying to say you has to get
33 catches for 354 yards, 3 touchdowns.
All right, so I expect him to have 400+ yards this year, 2 to 3 touchdowns, and I'm saying I told y'all so, and they're like, he got 50 more yards than last year. I'm like, did he drop? Did he fumble the ball? Did he drop any big games? You know, so that is what I want to see from Quez, because AJ Brown might be number 1. Devontae might be number 1. One of them are going to be number 1. The other one's going to be number 2. And Goddard's going to be number 3. And so regardless who, you know, is the 4th wide receiver, Olamide ain't catching more than 400 yards. Quez ain't. Now, maybe they split it 200, but I'm going Quez. until he proves me wrong one more time.
Listen, I think our wide receiver room in a better position though. Like we had, like Pascal to me wasn't a receiving threat in my eyes. Like you put him on the field, he might get you 8 yards, he might get you 10. You ain't really looking at. Now you got two dudes in Quez who offers one thing, and then you got Oz who offers something different. I think like it really can spread a team out. Like we didn't run a lot of.
I want to see some 5 receiver sets where Goddard's the only. He's lined up as a wide receiver, but he's tight end. But all them boys out there. But I do want to hear who King got though. King, you got Olamide?
No, I got Quez. I got faith in Quez that with that fire lit up under him, with the signing of Olamide, that he's going to bounce back. He basically want everybody on Twitter to eat their words. I'm all for it. This is his last year's contract under the Eagles. Hopefully that, he has a breakout season. I want him to actually have a season like similar to what Nelson Aguilar had in 2017. Like I wanted it to be similar to that. Those big plays. Probably not the numbers, but those big plays.
Yeah.
When we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, big play. Yeah, that's what we need him for, the big play.
Right. So, and that only happens when we motion like a Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is better than AJ Brown in motion, especially if he's in the slot. But with Zach Pascal, what he did for us last season, man, it worked. It might not work this season, but it worked with the screens, the picks, things like that. He worked in that aspect. Yeah, he got you those needed 8 yards for a first down or something like that. Olamide, he has the hands to do that. He has the hands to get us the first down. He can catch on the move. He hasn't dropped the ball probably at all at last season. Being under what's that, Ritter and our QB2. Yeah. So with that being said, I think that we got a good problem. We have a good problem, but you would rather have Quez there because he could take off the top better than Olamide. Olamide can secure a pass and get a first down if you do like a little mini curl, or if you do a little mini slant, or if you do a mini out route. He can secure the first down, but you want Quez out there because you want to give him that opportunity to redeem himself, especially for last season.
I just need 2 big plays a game for Quez.
I'll take early in July. Week 1 against the Patriots, Quez Watkins, 65 plus yards and a touchdown week 1. Mark it down in your books. 65 yards and a tub.
That's one play for Quez though. He can get you 65 and a TD off one play.
Hey, I didn't say how many catches he did. Do you see what I did there? I didn't say 4 catches, 65 in a tub. I just said 65 yards in a tub.
But if I can see Quez hit you for like maybe 2 big plays a game, you know how different the offense would have. You know how different a defense would play our offense. If Quez just came out there and burnt you for a 50, and then come back and burn you for like a little 40. Now
check this out. If we start using DeAndre Swift in the short game, that's going to allow Quez to get even more.
Do y'all understand what's going on?
Coming.
It's set up.
Mike just said it. Do y'all understand what's going on? All I need is the Dallas Goedert to stay healthy. That's it. Once he stay healthy, everything is opened up for Jalen Hurts. Everything opened up. He's going to have that 4,000 mark. He's not going to run as much, but he's going to run when needed. That's what I need him to do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a question for y'all. It's a lot of people that would say we're in a Super Bowl window. Is there a player going into training camp you can add to this roster that changes you from Super Bowl window to Super Bowl or bust this year? I'm gonna go with Buddha. If Buddha come in Super Bowl or bust,
I would say Buddha. I would say, sorry to cut you off, but I would say Buddha. But I also would say, like, if he really wanted out, because
Oh God.
That's a legit Super Bowl bust.
So
What happens to Quest though? Quest done.
Hey, Quest, it's been real, bro. But Patrick McQueen. I said it again. Patrick Queen.
I'm about to say, who's Patrick McQueen?
Patrick Queen, right? They can't let both of them walk. Baltimore cannot let both of them walk in Smith and Queen with the extension or the new contract for Lamar Jackson. So you gotta let one of them go. One of them has to go. So we could possibly get over on somebody there, especially for linebacker depth, or just if we don't see nothing there, we can sign him. So that's why I think we're holding on a lot to that salary cap that we have, the little salary cap that we have. And that's why we didn't sign a guy like Kelly Ringo yet, because we want to see what we're gonna do. But I think either one of those two guys, I like Miles Jack as a depth guy, not a starter, but as in depth. He didn't have good seasons in with the Steelers, so yeah, you want to like increase the depth in a linebacker room. A lot of people are high on Christian Ellis, but Christian Ellis was good in OTAs. That's basically almost, to me, flag football. We didn't suit up. Nobody's tackling. He didn't make plays. We will see.
He impressed me last year, DV, when he came in and got on
the
special
25th.
teams. When he came in on those special teams, he changed my because I seen that boy come down and lay some wood. Ellis, I like Ellis. I don't know if he's gonna be a linebacker, but on special teams, I see him come down and.
Yeah, real quick. So if you're saying Super Bowl or bust, I think people are trying to say that already because of how we brought as many people back as we did and the things we did, but it would have to be more of a Buda Baker because you're signing him knowing that he cost a lot of money. You're not going to have him throughout the totality of a Hassan Reddick's career. Reddick's contract, AJ's contract, Devontae's contract, Jalen. You're having Buda Baker for only a limited time, most likely 2 years at the most, maybe 3 if you try to squeeze it out, blah, 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 extend him and whatnot. So I think Buda is that Super Bowl or bust thing. A Patrick McQueen, how'd you get it? Patrick Queen. I think that's just a solid signing to add to a weaker part of our team. And again, I think we have question marks at the linebacker position, but I do think that with Christian Ellis and Davion Taylor and Nicholas Morrow, am I here to swear to you that one of them guys is going to show up and be the next TJ Edwards? I don't know which one, but I am more confident that I got three players to show me a TJ Edwards leap this year, right? Because TJ Edwards sat behind Nathan Gary. TJ Edwards sat behind Alex Singleton, who played better when he went to the Denver Broncos, no ifs, and or buts about it. However, he sat behind these guys. They weren't good. Eric Wilson started over TJ Edwards. Why? Because TJ Edwards was a late bloomer too. Now, I'm not taking anything away from him. He played great last year. But I'm saying Christian Ellis' story is reminding me of it. Undrafted guy, sat for 2-3 years, now gets his chance. We're hearing good signs. King, you're right. OTAs is OTAs. On the field activities. Activities, they call it. But at least we're hearing good signs. We saw what he did tackling and making plays and special teams last year, and it's similar to the TJ Edwards thing. And again, you play better when you have talent around you. We still got that secondary we always had. I still feel confident in the safety room pretty much. The pass rush got even better than last year, at least to my thinking, especially stopping the run. It makes it easier on these linebackers. So if you ask me who's going to start on side of Nakobe Dean, I'm not sure. But with the door open for 3 players, Davion Taylor, last year of his rookie contract, Nicholas Morrow signed a 1-year deal, minimum money, can get cut at any time, and Christian Ellis, a UDFA who has to prove something, right? So if they three give me their best and the winner of them starts beside Kobe Dean, I feel decent because it wasn't, well, we heard good things to Christian Ellis and he automatically makes it. Nicholas Morrow got brought over here, he automatically makes it. Oh, Davion Taylor was our 3rd round pick 4 years ago, he automatically makes it. These are 3 guys who have potential. We draft him 3rd round because of potential. We signed Nicholas Morrow because of potential. We are writing reports and articles on Christian Ellis because of potential. So they got 3 potentials duking it out. I think the winner is going to be worthy. You know what I mean? He's not gifted it. TJ Edwards waited his time and then didn't have to fight nobody. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, Nakobe Dean you can say, but Nakobe Dean, whatever you want to say, rehabbing this, blah, 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 blah. But TJ waited his turn. If Christian Ellis makes it, he earned it. This is my point of view on it.
If Christian Ellis does make it, he earned it. I do want to see more out of him, especially in training camp. Coles, you're not going to get me to bite on that comment. But you're not. But with that being said, I think that the linebacker room is, I would say, is the weakest. Like I said, I'm on record saying Kelly Ringo could be a safety. I can say I can say he could be a safety. I can say to avoid injury, we could actually put Greedy Williams in the slot. Or I know they was in OTAs they had Zach McPherson backing up Maddox, but we could put Maddox at safety too. Like, it's so many ways that we could go about doing this, and it's all about the cuts, basically. The cuts that we from 90 to 53. So that we're gonna do.
That's
and
crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. Mike, hey, KingDv, we got to give him the question from Birds of Broad Street. All right,
yeah, go on.
It's down the distance, 2nd and 14, 5-man front. Who you 5?
Wait, say it again. 2nd and 14, 5-man front.
5-man front.
Sweat, Carter. 2nd and 14.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if he say what I said. I said. He said
2nd and 14. If it's 3rd down, then I'm taking Jalen Carter. I mean, I'm taking Jordan Davis off the field for the.
That's why we use 2nd down, because it leaves you with an opening if you play Jordan or not. That's why we left it at 2nd.
Yeah, second.
Right. Listen, I got high hopes on Jordan Davis becoming, putting that into his bag and being an overall better player. But I still think he's gonna do what he does. Okay, Sweat, Carter, Fletch, Reddick, Smith.
Ooh,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
My 5 was I went with Sweat, Reddick, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham.
And I went.
It's hard to take BG had double-digit sacks too, and I'm not trying to just throw him away, but I ain't cheerlead for Nolan Smith before the draft just to keep him off my list.
Well, Mike, you gotta understand.
When I asked the question,
Mike, wait.
Is this week 1?
Mike, you gotta understand.
Is it week 1?
I don't know what week. See, we didn't even get that far.
Hey, you remember the question I asked after I picked my list? I was like, that's what I asked. I was like, where we at? Like, what quarter we in? Like, if it's 2nd and 14 game on the line, I'm probably taking BG out the field and putting Nolan Smith on the field.
But as us sitting up there having a situational down moment, and we had to pick 5 guys, you gotta leave one guy out that had possibly 10 sacks.
That's a good thing.
Last year. That's a good problem to have, bro. It's a good problem to have.
It's okay, Gene. It's better to be here late than never be here at all. It's all good. But that was my question. I remember you remember me asking at DV after I picked. I was like, what? I mean, where we at? Is it 4th quarter? And then they started adding the stipulations. I'm like, okay, I picked the line now.
I got a question. Who do you think that Sidney Brown is going to take on more, Reed Blankenship or Terrell Edmonds?
What you mean, like take they snaps?
Or no. Try to compete against.
I think his best opportunity is probably Reed Blankenship. Like because
Wow.
Terrell Edmonds is a veteran. Like he's been in the league 5 years. He led the Steelers defense in tackles 2 years in a row. Like he hasn't missed a game in 5. Like he is the staple of being a NFL player.
And he's only 26, bro. He's only 26.
Availability is the best ability. He ain't missed a game yet, and he young. Look,
if he balls out for the Eagles, you can give him a 3-year deal, and you'll have him all the way up until he gets to before he's 30.
We're on record saying that Terrell Edmonds is a stat.
He's a
safety, right?
Yeah. Box safety.
He's a box safety, right? So wouldn't it make sense because Reed Blankenship had a good season last year. But let's be honest, he's not the most athletic like a Sidney Brown. Do you think that Sidney Brown would pair up better with Terrell Edmonds or Reed Blankenship?
Hold on,
you got to see Sidney again. We're talking about a guy who's never played in the National Football League yet. I have high regard for him, respect, but we see UDFA. Listen, every single football team went first round, second round, third round, all the way to 7, and none of them looked at UDF. None of them looked at Reed Blankenship as a worthy pick. And then he ended up starting 4 games and playing in 10 games for the Eagles. And now people know, now we looking at him different. So you got to see. But I do think that if Sidney Brown starts playing more snaps, becomes a starter, it will be for Reed Blankenship. Now, Sidney Brown is weird because he played a lot of box safety in Illinois as well.
Right.
He can play the post safety and be that guy who's deep in coverage and whatnot as well. That's why I like him. However, if Terrell Edmonds just falls apart, then you can see a scenario where it's Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship. I just think it's more likely that it's Terrell Edmonds is going to. I think Terrell Edmonds is about to ink a 3-year deal with the Eagles. Like, I really do think he's going to.
Did you hear that report? Like, they were 50-50. Like, they had offered him a multi-year deal, and then they were 50-50 in the office. Like, man, look, should we offer him more or should we let him walk? I hear Terrell, the Steelers, they were like in the office, like 50-50. Like, should we offer him more?
Just because we got him late and he sat on the market for a little bit. Like, do you remember how long Tyrann Mathieu sat on the market? Like, he was on the market post-draft too. Actually, he was on the market post-draft. We signed Terrell Edmonds pre-draft, didn't we?
Yep.
So, like, people act like if you don't get picked at a free agency in the first week or so, you're buns. No. Sometimes you wait for the best team, the best
Sometimes
offer.
you're negotiating with your team.
You're talking to your agent. You're doing a bunch of different things. Matthews, the Honey Badger, is still a top 10 safety in the league. He probably closer to number 10 now, a little older, but he's still a baller. And he got signed after the draft to the New Orleans Saints. You know what I mean? Like, you got to see the money, see the scenario, see who's there. I mean, who's offering you money over championships. You know what I mean? All that stuff goes into your pick. And so people like, yeah, you got Terrell Edmonds on the second wave of free agency. And we got
CJ Gardner-Johnson in the third wave.
Yeah.
Come on now. Stop it. It don't matter. It doesn't matter when you get a player. Players evaluate their market, and then they get the best scenario for them. It might not take 3 days. It might not be the first day. It might not be a TJ Edwards in 16 minutes.
Yeah. Remember I say that, though, 3-year deal. He inking that by the end of the season.
Ooh.
We'll have him.
What about Swift? You signing Swift? You signing Swift too?
I don't know about that.
Listen. I want to sign Swift. Depends on how he's looking by week 12-ish.
Yeah, I need
before
to
the price go up. I don't need you to be
double-digit weeks with this man, just because I like him.
Well, you see, I said 12.
I like that number.
But he averages 14 games, 13. Well, now that we have 17, he's missed 3 games, so he's averaging like 13 and a half games a season. I need you in like week 13. If you there, I'm probably like, hey, look, let's go talk in the back room real quick. Because I don't need the price to go up and then we lose another running back, and we back in this same situation where Kenny Gainwell is the only guy on the roster.
Look at Miles Sanders took a cheap. Miles Sanders got $6 million a year.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl season? Like, I mean, like, what is Swift gonna do that's gonna get more? Like, look, I think Swift brings another element to this team. No if, and, or buts about it. But do you think Swift might going to just come up in here and have the same years rushing as Miles Sanders? Maybe he does, but I'm saying Miles Sanders was a top 5 back and got $5.5 million a year. So I don't think that really Swift can do anything to make us be like, well, we can't pay him. He's too expensive. You know what I mean? Because negotiations are going to have, well, this is your only season you were healthy and you did share the backfield and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, if Saquon can't get no money, you know, everybody looking down at that position.
Jacobs didn't get no money. Pollard didn't get no money. They ain't giving out no money for running back.
Man, it's crazy because Miles Sanders is on record saying that he wouldn't have had the year that he had if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts. Now you got DeAndre Swift playing with Jalen Hurts. You got Rashad Penny possibly playing for Jalen Hurts or with Jalen Hurts. I think that if I had to guess, DeAndre Swift do get signed, but not for like 4 years or anything. It's more like 3. I'll say 3. I think that, you know, he's going to put it on because he's from the city. He's from Philly. He played here. He played ball here to the point where he's just going to be welcomed home. He's going to be welcomed home, especially by his family, his friends, peers, whatever. Rashad Penny, I do want him to make the roster because we need that bruiser back. We on record all last season saying we should have got Kareem Hunt. We should have got got a guy that can be that bruiser back, because that's what we had in 2017. We had somebody like Joseph Ajayi, or and LeGarrette Blount. They were paired up together. You need a mix-up, especially third and goal. You know, we can't just keep running.
Jalen.
Jalen and Boston Scott. Boston Scott had a couple of third and goal runs too, and we can't keep running it. Kenny Gainwell, it's more like it's almost like they looking at him as a background because
disrespected Kenny G.
No, I'm not just. I love Kenny G. Don't get me wrong.
Nah, it's just funny you said they looking at him like a background. Like,
no, listen, hear me out. So it was at one point after the Super Bowl loss, we was talking about him being RB1, and then they got not one but 2 running backs that are, I'm not going to say household names, but they did their thing in their respective organizations, regardless of how many games they played, injury prone, whatever the case may be. But when they were on the field, they were dynamic. Now we got 2 guys ahead of him. He has a lot to prove. And this is what I want to see in training camp. I want to see how bad he wants that. I could do what DeAndre Swift could do. Hey, force the coaches to play that. You know, hey, Kenny Gainwell can do exactly what he could do. Hey, catch it out the backfield, get us to 8 yards. He could do those things. I know Kenny Gainwell could do those things, but they didn't trust it. They didn't trust it last season. They didn't.
So hey man, you know, we get into that 9 o'clock mark, man. You know, we've had some good conversation. I really appreciate Mike for coming out here, man. But we're gonna close it up here soon. So hey, we're gonna give Mike a chance, you know, tell him, well, they know where they can find you. Everybody in this chat watches Philly Mike. They know where they can find you, but you can go ahead and give them another word, you know.
Wait. Before Mike go, I was just, before we even went on, I was watching Mike's video about rugby football, about what Dallas Goddard said about that push on 3rd and 1. They can't stop it, bro. They can't stop it, and I'm with you on all of that. So that's what I'm saying. I watch your stuff. You know, you younger than me. It's crazy because a lot of people can't tell, but you're younger than me. I look up to what you do. I look up to what you do, and that's just as high praise to what you do, and that's why I follow you to the point where you got information that I can't get to, or I don't know how to get to, because on Twitter, it's a crazy place. But overall, man, like I do want to give you your flowers, man. You do your thing, and watch you. I watch LB. I watch Philly 500. I watch Joey Shakes. I watch all those guys to the point where y'all been doing this for a while. And for a guy that just started last year, and I heard you saying that in 2017 you wasn't even doing this. Just want to say thank you for leading the way, and fly Eagles fly, and I'm gonna just get the mic to you to the point where you can address what Smitty said.
You gave him flowers, so wait before he go. Mike did more for me than he might even realize. We had a lot of conversations, you know what I'm saying? Like sitting on the Jan app, me reaching out when I was starting my pod. He was like, bro, you got it. Just keep riding. And I think about that every day. Like, it's times where I be like, man, this damn podcast ain't doing what I need to do. Like, I'm confused. And he be like, go to YouTube, bro. Look it up. Like, just look at a video. Yeah. It's on there. It's there.
If only y'all see my beginning video. They're still up there. Yeah,
I can imagine. I can imagine.
I started in 2019 season, and like I said, I didn't even realize that anybody was really doing this. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I knew that people weren't, but I didn't know it was like a big thing for like other teams and even the Eagles. And so when I started doing it, then it started showing me LB's videos, 500 and Shakes. They were all before me. I came in the 19 season and whatnot. But yeah, man, some rough times. Just literally started with a phone. That's it. Bang. Just blank wall and all that. And it went from little by little by little. But, we all learn from each other. We all trying to grow. We all just trying to talk our team at the end of the day. Because, like I said, I didn't think anything about this until stuff started happening. But yeah, now it's just a part of my thing. Like, and it's crazy because I have a 3-year-old who's born September 2nd, 2019. I think I did my first video September 6th or September 8th, 2019. So I don't even count the 6th. I just pretty much say my podcast birthday is my son's birthday. You know what I mean? So like, I literally, my 3-year-old is the life of my channel. And when his birthday is, I also celebrate PTP. You know what I mean? But yeah, Lan, it's just good to be talking Eagles regardless. If it's through, people see me all across the world, or just me chopping it up at the barbershop with a homie. That's just what we've been doing our whole lives. And it's good that we can, speak our mind on here. And like I said, it really all it takes is just getting started. Yeah, consistency is the key for sure. You know what I mean? Being more prepared, right? Like if I started the 19, the way my videos are coming out now, maybe I would have grew faster this and third, but you can't think about that. You can't let that distract you for just being consistent. Look at LB. He got a nice setup and all that too, but the majority of his grind came from the rooftop of his house or the car. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, speaking facts or speaking about your team and just being consistent and being yourself is going to get you far in this thing. Like I said, I might have a fancy mic and a fancy green screen, but that's not necessarily what the people come for. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, does it make the audio a little bit better? Does it make it more visually okay to look at for a new person? Yeah. But at the end of the day, the things I can have all the best things in the world. If I'm mistaken the Kobe Dean for a safety and saying stuff that don't make sense, I doubt people are going to come back. So it's just being yourself and talking birds. And like I said, some people know more about the X and O. Some people know more about the gossip. Some people know more about the this and the third. All you do is bring what you got to the table. And, the main thing is just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Don't get demoralized. Like, it was killing me when I was sick not to put out content, not because I just wanted to, it's because I'm like, I got stuff to talk about the birds about, but I can't do it. You know what I mean? I just can't do it. I can't speak. I'm gonna cough every other sentence. So you know what I mean? I almost let my son come up here with a little manuscript. I was gonna let little Philly Mike read my thing. I got a 7-year-old. I got a 8-year-old too. He just turned his July 10th. I was gonna let him read a manuscript of what I wanted him to say for a video, but it took too long. Got a bit of a stutter. You know what I mean?
Happy belated to your little mans, man.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to you.
Hey man, but look, y'all go to YouTube, Philly Talk the podcast. Y'all go to Twitter, Philly Mike. Hey man, we try to stay away from the trolling situations on the Twitter side, but it's a little hard when you got people like Cole Cowboy and his brigade of Dallas Cowboy gang. But hey man, y'all go follow my boy. Tune in. He got content coming to you every day. And if he miss a day, be patient. Just wait. He coming back. Y'all know what it is. But until next time, man, go Birds, man.
But to tell me I came out with DeAndre Swift over Bijan
Jordan Davis, because